Okay, welcome to Midvale Speedway. July 20th, 1997. The Ohio E-Mods are on the track right now. First event of the racing evening here at Midvale. On the pole, Scott Marino in 20. Jack Ripley 1J. Mark Howell in 9K. 21 and 75 of Baldy Baker Jr. Mike Abramacek in 56. Glenn Jewell 11 and Roger Miller M2. Here we go. And the Brian Carpet Sales Ohio E-Mod down in front goes Jack Ripley with a 1J car. 21, first time here this year. No identification on the driver at this present time. We'll get him before the night's over with. Scott Marino in that third spot in the 0 car. High on the outside is Mike Abramacek at 56. Roger Miller moving up in the M2 car. Mark Howell in 9K. Baldy Baker Jr. 75. And Glenn Jewell in 11. 3 abreast down the backstretch. Mark Howell, Scott Marino, and Mike Abramacek. Jack Ripley out in front of the 1J. 21 in second. Mark Howell in third. Caught on the outside is Mike Abramacek in 56. Jack Ripley out in front. 5 or 6 car lengths back to 21, then 5 or 6 back to Mark Howell in the 9K. White flag coming out. Jack takes it in turn 1. Down the backstretch he goes. One more time in turn 3. Out of 4, it's Jack Ripley. 21. Third's going to be Mark Howell. Then Baldy Baker, Glenn Jewell, Roger Miller, Mike Abramacek, and Scott Marino in the 0 car. Okay, moving to the second heat of the Brian Carpet Sales Ohio E-Mods. On the pole is 02. And then on the outside of him is Bob Adams in 14. Foster Mackey in 30. Jeff Walker in 50. John Sawyer in 2. 1P is Todd Ripley. And 95.9 is Tim Johnston. That's your second heat of the Brian Carpet Sales Ohio E-Mods. Looking for green this time. July 20th, 1997. Here we go. Down in the turn 3, out of 4, completing the first lap is 02. John Sawyer trying to make a move on Foster Mackey there. Bob Adams falling back.
Mackey way up high.
Foster Mackey looks like he lost his air cleaner. There goes the rest of it. Foster Mackey losing his air cleaner down the back stretch and losing the rest of it down the front stretch. Zero 2 out in front. Foster Mackey in second and 30. Then John Sawyer in 2. He's in third. Jeff Walker, Bob Adams, Todd Ripley, and Tim Johnston. Coming into 3 out of 4. Here comes your winner, 02. 30, 2, 50, 14, 1T, and 95.9. Proud sponsors of the Ohio E-Mods is Brian's Carpet Sales and Service in Uricksville, located at 119 North Main Street in Uricksville. For all your carpet and vinyl installation needs, commercial and residential, check out Brian's Carpet Sales and Service in Uricksville, 119 North Main Street. The hours are Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, 9 to 5. They're closed on Wednesday. Jeff Amsdale is the winner. And then they're open on Saturday, 9 to 12. And they're closed on Wednesday. Jeff Amsdale in 02, your winner. Okay, moving into the always exciting street stocks, the Dale's Heating and Cooling street stocks down here in Midvale. Mike McDonald making his first appearance of the year in 16. On the outside of him is C.W. Moreland in 33, and we got a green coming out of 4.
Green out, here we go, green.
Gary Gardner in 48. Oh. In 27, Rich Schweitzer in 77. John Ramser in 40. AP Wren in 50 and Casey Knight in 27. We got a yellow. Yellow is out. Okay, total restart. Mike McDonald, C.W. Boiler bringing him in. We got a green. Down to turn 1, CW on the outside, Mike on the inside. They're on and off the track as CW leads lap 1. Bill Hilliker on the inside, he's going to take over the lead. John Ramser trying to move up on the inside to get by CW. Back here in 4th is Mike McDonald. First time here this year in the 16 car. Schweitzer on the outside, him in 77. Gary Gardner and Casey Knight come together. John Ramser trying the outside groove, trying to get Hilliger. KC on the outside of McDonald, trying to get that position. He has him coming out of 4. John Ramser now trying to challenge on the. We got a C.W. Moreland. Did a 360 and then hit the first turn for fence. Here we go, restart. Bill Hilliker out in front yet. John Ramser in second. Casey Knight on the inside of John Ramser trying to get that second spot.
Do you know the number of the Best Western in Columbus?
Not offhand. Oh, wait a minute.
4, 6, 7, 4, 2, 8, 7. 6, 7, 4, 2, 8, 7.
Here we go. Hilliger still showing the way. Rams are in second, Casey Knight third, then Mike McDonald and Gary Hoopengardner. White flag.
Is Bill Hilliger, second place, people 27 of Casey Knight, third place, the 40 car of John Ramser. 50-50 girls, would one of you please report to the tower?
There's your first winner in the Dale's Heating and Cooling Street Stocks Fast Heat, Bill Hilliger in 27. Dale's Heating and Cooling, proud sponsors of the Street Stocks. They're a local distributor of Armstrong Air Heating and Cooling products. The location's 501 Newport Avenue in Uricksville. Dale Roofner is the owner-operator. The hours are Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, 8 to 5, and Saturday, 8 to 12. They're closed on Wednesdays and Sundays. That's Dale's Heating and Cooling, proud sponsors of the Street Stocks here at Midvale for 1997. There's your winner, Bill Hilliger in 27. Okay, moving to the second heat of the Dale's Heating and Cooling Street Stocks. On the pole, 78 is Travis DeVore. On the outside, end number 85 is Chris Errett. Back on the inside, it's the Animal, Bob the Animal Eichel in 69. Tim Dreher in 37. Ron Daig in 5 tonight. Doug McMillan in 54 and Mike Powell 95, and we got a green. Down the turn one, it's Travis DeVore. Bob the Animal Eichel. Up to second, Ron Daig comes to third. Tim Dreher fourth. Doug McMillan fifth. Chris Errett sixth. And Mike Powell in seventh. Ron Daig looks to the outside of Bob, the Animal Eichel for second. Down the front stretch. Bob still has it going into one. Coming out of two, it's still Bob. On the back stretch, Ron's able to get by him. Bringing up Doug McMillan with him on the outside as Travis DeVore shows the way in the 78 car. And we got Chris Errett looping it down in turn number 4. Yella coming out.
Saturday and next year?
I don't know yet. I really don't know. He never told me anything yet. Honest to God, I don't know. Travis DeVore still out in front. Ron Daig in second. Doug McMillan up to third. Bob the Animal Eichel fourth. Mike Powell fifth. And Chris Errett in sixth. Travis has had all kind of trouble the last several weeks, doing a fine job here in this heat race. Doug slips on the inside of Ron Daig. White flag going to be out this time by into turn one. Out of two is Travis DeVore. Doug McMillan in second. Bob the Animal Eichel swoops it down in turn number 2. No caution as the leaders enter turn number 3. Out of 4, this was the final time. It's Travis DeVore, Doug McMillan, Ron Daig, Mike Powell. Mike Powell, Chris Air for the second time in a matter of 8 laps, loops it down in turn number 4. Picking up the second heat of the Dale's Heating Cooling Street Stocks, number 78. It's Travis DeVore. They're still running out there. It's Bob the Animal Michael. He'll finish next. And then Chris Harris. Picking up the second heat of the Dale's Heating Cooling Street Stocks, it's going to be Travis DeVore in 78. Key Joe's Body and Paint, located at 1820 North Water Street in Uricksville. Joe DeCaminata is the owner-operator. Joe uses nothing but DuPont paint products, the official paint of NASCAR. For all your car body needs, stop in and see Joe at Key Joe's Body and Paint in Uricksville. The hours are Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5. There's your winner, Travis DeVore in 78.
Spun up, come off at number 4 turn.
Miles out of the way.
You guys just move back. He's going to get you in the camera.
Here they come over number 4 quarter, 5 flag out.
Okay, moving into Indian Village Savings Loan Detroit Iron. First heat. Anthony Bissett, 45. Buckshot Jones in 48, moving up. Look out, Buckshot! Mike Dines at 77, trying to get up past 32. That Wild Bill Binnicker tonight is 32, I believe. Okay. Jimmy Paris, I guess, is driving 32. Randy Doolin trying to move up in the 1 car. Dan Gruhl in 99. Don Hooper in 17. And I believe that's Steve Sams in 33 tonight. Halfway this time. 4 down, 4 to go. Out in front, it's Jimmy Paris. Randy Doolin in 2nd. Dan Gruhl 3rd. 52's in 4th. Then Buckshot Jones in 5th. Steve Sams and Anthony Bissett, Don Hooper, and Mike Dines. Dan Gruhl into 3rd now. White flag is out. Oh, we got Steve Sams looping in turn number down the backstretch. Coming out of 2. White flag is out. Coming out of 4, it's Jimmy Paris, Randy Doolin, Dan Gruhl, 52, Buckshot Jones, Mike Dines, Anthony Bissett loops it up in turn number 4. Right then. Okay, picking up the first seat of the Indian Village Savings and Loan Detroit Irons here tonight, number 32, Jungle Jimmy Paris in 32. Indian Village Savings and Loan, proud sponsor of the Detroit Irons Racing Division, is located at 100 South Walnut Street in Jeanette, Hutton. For all your banking needs, check out Indian Village Savings and Loan in Jeanette, Hutton, Ohio. There's your winner of the first heat, Jimmy Paris in 32.
Well, 7 and 7, Mark Striker, the 28 car of Jimmy Orr, and the 38 machine of Kevin McClintock.
Okay, moving into the second heat of the Indian Village Savings Loan Detroit. 6 out there. Lee King Ferguson, I guess, is in 83. Is that Joseph Leinert in 28 tonight?
No,
Yes, it is.
On the pole, keep an eye on number 6 car. This could be a first racing action here at Midvale Speedway. Comes on the corner.
John, oh, we got 66 looping up in turn number 1. Okay, we're going to try it again.
Wow, maybe the 2-1 lap with 1 caution grid. We'll try it again. First race ever.
First race ever, number 6, I believe.
Here they come on number 4 car. The race flags off. He's on number 6 car.
Calvin Cohen up there in 66. Joseph Leinert in 28. Calvin Cohen is having all kind of handling trouble tonight.
We may ask questions later.
On the inside comes John Bertram. Ferguson in 83. Stringer in 77. Ferguson back out in front. William Albio on the outside. Oh, we got John Bertram out of shape back there in the back. William Albio showing the pace. Jimmy Orr in second. Ferguson in third. Sixth and fourth. John Bertram fifth. Kevin McClintock in seventh. And Mark Stryker in eighth. From it, Jimmy Orr challenging on the outside. John Bertram on the inside in third. Ferguson in fourth. Mark Stryker fifth. White flag coming out.
White flag coming out.
Jimmy Orr in that second spot. Into turn three, one more time. Coming out of four. William Albio, Jimmy Orr, John Bertram, Mark Stryker, Kevin McClintock, Lee King Ferguson, and number 6. Picking up the second heat of the Indian Village Savings and Loan Detroit Iron Division, William Albio in 3T. New Image Homes, located at 1507 Brightwood Road, southeast of New Philadelphia. Karen and Bear Schwartz, the owner-operators. They're authorized builder of all American homes. Their office and display house is one exit north of the racetrack, the Schumbrunn exit. in New Philadelphia. The hours are Tuesday through Friday 12 to 6, Saturday 12 to 5, and Sunday 1 to 4. They're closed on Monday. There's your winner of the Indian Village Savings and Loan Detroit second heat, number 3T, William Albiol. Okay, moving into the Brian Carpet Sales, a Highway Mod feature. On the pole is Timmy J in 21, Baldy Baker Jr. in 75, Glenn Jewell in 11 on the outside. Of him will be Roger Miller in M2, then Foster Mackey in 30, 50 of Jeff Walker, and U202 is Mike Amzadell in 02, John Sawyer in 2, Bob Adams in 14, Tim Johnson in 95.9, and it looks like Todd Ripley in 1T, then Jack Ripley in 1J, Mark Howell in 9K, Scott Marino in 0, and Mike Abramacek in 56. There's your field for the feature in the Brian Carpet Sales, a Highway Mod feature event of the evening. Okay, they're all bunched up. Coming out of 4. Got a green. Timmy J in the 121 car. Glenn Jewell on the inside. Baldy Baker Jr. in 75. Whoa. Total restart. Try her again. Here we go. Timmy J in 21, Glenn Jewell on the inside, Baldy Baker on the outside, Roger Miller in M2. Amzadell in the 02. Bob Adams in 14. Foster Mackey 30, John Sawyer in 2, Jeff Walker in 50, Glenn Jewell on the inside, taking over the lead. Glenn Jewell out in front. Timmy J in 21. Third is Baldy Baker Jr. Then Jeff Amzadell in 02. Roger Miller in that 5th spot. Bob Adams 6. Foster Mackey 7th. Bob looks to the outside. Trying to get by Roger Miller for that position. Foster Mackey and Baldy Baker. Yellow. Glenn Jewell out in front. Timmy Johnson trying to move up on the inside. We got Glenn Jewell, Timmy J, Jeff Amzadell, Roger Miller, Bob Adams, Timmy Johnson, John Sawyer, Baldy Baker, Todd Ripley, Jack Ripley, Jeff Walker, Mark Howe, and Scott Marino out there racing. Showing the way. Jeff Amsterdam on the inside. Taking over second off of Timmy J. Here comes Roger Miller with him, coming out of 4. Bob Adams trying to move up. Tim Johnston and John Sawyer into it. Amsterdam looks to the inside. Glenn's able to hold him off. Fourth is Timmy J. Fifth, Bob Adams. Sixth, on the inside comes Tim Johnston. Bob Adams. Coming out of 4. Here we go. Roger Miller and Harris the lead. Timmy J's in second. Tim Johnson third. Bob Adams fourth. John Sawyer fifth. Todd Ripley's in sixth. And Jack Ripley. Timmy Johnson on the inside. Takes over second. Roger Miller, Tim Johnston, Timmy J, Bob Adams, John Sawyer, Todd Ripley, Jack Ripley, Baldy Baker, Jeff Walker, Mark Howe, Foster Mackey, Jeff Amsterdam, Scott Marino, and Glenn Jewell. Roger Miller hanging on. Roger Miller out in front. Tim Johnston in second. Timmy J in third. White flag is out. White flag is on. Coming out of 4, Roger Miller, Tim Johnston, Timmy J, Bob Adams, John Sawyer, Todd Ripley, Jack Ripley, Foster Mackey, Baldy Baker, Jeff Amsterdam, Jeff Walker, Mark Howe, Scott Marino, Glenn Jewell out there racing, picking up the feature in the Brian Carpet Sales Ohio E-Mod class here tonight. Number M2 is Roger Miller. Remember, Eric Levengood of Smidley Realty. Are you thinking of buying or selling a home? Put Eric Levengood to work for you from Smidley Realty. With his 15 years of real estate experience to work for you, call Eric today at 343-8399. And Mako's Market and Pharmacy continues to strive to be your first choice for all your grocery shopping, your first choice for all your pharmacy needs. When you shop the Mako's way, you'll find savings in every aisle. Don't miss this vital opportunity to stay informed for all your health, only at your home for great weekly specials and full-service pharmacy and other convenient services. Mako's Market and Pharmacy in downtown Uriksville. And there's your winner, number M2, Roger Miller, tonight in the Brian's Carpet Sales and Service Ohio E-Mod class, July 20th, 1997. A beautiful night for racing here at Midvale. Roger Miller, your winner tonight.
Conrad Nichols, so your report.
Okay, moving into the Dale's Heating Cooling Street Stock feature. Travis DeVore and Gary Hubergardner will bring them in. "25 laps, I believe they're going. Bill Hilliker in that third spot. Chris Aaron in 85. Mr. Loopy. Oh! Chris Aaron.
I said big crash in turn 2, didn't I? Another one right here.
You on?
There'll be another one right here.
Well, turn me on. Oh, you are? Okay, total restart. Travis DeVore, Gary Hubergardner, Chris Aaron, Bill Hilliker, bringing them in. There we go. That one right there. Oh! AP Red went up in the air. And Chris Aaron, and 85's in the infield. Okay, we're going to try it for the third time. AP Red is unable to continue. He's on the hook. He's in the pits. Out in front is Travis DeVore. Bill Hilliker in second. Rich Schweitzer third. Doug's taking a chance. He's going high. Your leaders, Travis DeVore, Bill Hilliker second. Third is Rich Schweitzer, then John Ramser, Gary Hubergardner, Bill, Bob Eichel, Casey Knight, Tim Dreher, Doug McMillan, Chris Aaron, Mike McDonald, and Mike Powell. John Ramsey looks to the outside of Rich Schweitzer trying to get third. Casey Knight on the outside of Gary Hubergardner. DeVore still hanging on. Bill Hilliker, John Ramser side by side for second. Ramser has him going down the backstretch. Starting to challenge Travis for the lead. Travis DeVore on the inside, John Ramser on the outside. Bill Hilliker, Casey Knight, Rich Schweitzer, and Gary Hupengardner. Bill Hilliker in the infield. Yellow will be out. They're going green and yellow. Yellow's back out. We'll try it again. Travis DeVore, John Ramser, Bill Hilliker. A little mix up in the lineup there. Then Casey Knight. Okay. Nine in, 16 to go. Travis DeVore, John Ramser, Bill Hilliker, Casey Knight, Gary Hupengardner, Bob Eichel. He pulls on the outside of Travis. It's John. As Casey pulls on the outside of Bill Hilliker. In the third comes Casey Knight. Oh, we got Tim Dreher looping up in turn number 4. Hey, John. Well, let's go into micro-reality stock car racing, today's #1 entertainment. Anyone can race these cars wide open to the throttle. Anyone can take these to the limit. At any age, 4 to 6 stock cars, 20 inches long by 9 inches wide, can race up to 60 miles an hour on a banked oval track. No slots, just non-stop racing action, fun for everyone. Micro-reality stock car racing is great for celebrations, holiday functions, store openings, conventions, school functions, fundraisers, and so on. So go ahead, shift into high gear, schedule a Mean Machine micro-reality stock car race today. Call Buckeye Racing at 614-922-1254 and experience your own micro-reality stock car racing today. Buckeye Racing, 614-922-1254. Green back out. Halfway home. John Ramser on the outside, Travis DeVore on the inside. Casey Knight in third. John Ramser, your new leader. Casey Knight on the outside, trying to get second off of Travis DeVore. Into second goes Casey Knight. John Ramser, Casey Knight, Travis DeVore, Bill Hilliker, Doug McMillan, Rich Schweitzer, Gary Hoopengartner, Mike McDonald, Tim Dreher, Chris Aaron, and Mike Powell out there racing yet. Casey's trying to look to the outside of John as Travis hangs on to third. Fourth, Bill Hilliker. Fifth, Doug McMillan. Then Rich Schweitzer in sixth. Casey dips low. Casey looks to the outside as they exit turn number 2. John pulls away. Doug McMillan trying everything he can to get back up there. 5 to go. Him and Rich Schweitzer side by side for position. Rich on the inside, Doug on the outside. John Ramser, Casey Knight, hanging on the third is still Travis DeVore. Doug looks to the outside of Bill Hilliker. Travis on the outside, Hilliker on the inside. White flag gonna be out next time by. Ramser leads him down the backstretch. Hilliker. Casey Knight in second yet. Coming out of 4. John Ramser, Casey Knight. Travis DeVore, Bill Hilliker, Doug McMillan, Rich Schweitzer, Gary Hoopengartner, Tim Dreher, Mike McDonald, Chris Aaron. Picking up the Dale's Heating and Cooling Street Stock feature event of the evening here at Midvale, July 20th, 1997. Number 40, and the Patty's in. Number 40, it's John Ramser.
Your feature winner, the Patty's in Top Elite Roofing, sponsors number 40 car. Top competitors in our Street Stock Division. John Ramser, how about doing a nice round of applause? He can hear you now.
John Ramser, your winner, the Dale's Heating and Cooling Street Stock.
The top drivers each and every week here in our Street Stock Division.
Okay, the cars are starting to pull away for the late model feature. 100 laps to go tonight, paying $1,500 to win. On the pole, 44, John Crumrine. On the outside of him is Steve Gillen in 50. Then Tom Garbrand in 64. Doc Nixon in 4. 83 is Jim Rambud. Out there next is 7 is Kenny Carroll. Bill Rose in 32, 6 of Ernie Shook. 31 is Bart Busby. 24 black is Ryan Tedesco. 24 yellow is A.J. Diano. Bob Siblin 30 tonight. 75 of Marcus Malquit. Jeff Smith in 34. Mario Dino in 36. 33 is Jeff Wilson. 07 is Ken Cantrell. 22 out there is Ron J. Bird Jr. 81 is Bill Pete. 74 of Jack McGrath. 18 is Bob Scott. 100 Glorine flag racing laps. He'll be going. Winner taking home his share of $1,500. The Arian McDonald late model division down here at Midvale. Hey, here we go. 100 green flag racing laps. We got a green. Out of turn one, out of two, it's John Crumrine out in front on the outside of him. Side by side is Steve Gillen. Tom Garbrandt, 64. Doc Dixon. Jim Rambud. Doc Dixon off the pace. He pulls into pit. John Crumrine, Steve Gillen, Tom Garbrandt, Jim Rambud, Kenny Carroll, Ernie Shook, Bill Rosen, Bart Busby, Brian Tedesco, Bob Zibla, AJ Dino, Marcus Malcolm, Mario Dino. Out in front, John Crumrine. Ernie Shook looks to the outside, trying to get by Farmer Smith. Car, Kenny Carroll. Now he's working on Jim Rambud in the 83 car. John Crumrine, Steve Gillen, Tom Garbrandt, Ernie Shook. Kenny Carroll, Bill Rosen, Bart Busby, Bob Zibla, Brian Tedesco, AJ Dino, Mario Dino, Marcus Malcolm, Jeff Smith, Kenny Cantrell, John Wilson, Bill Pete, Ron J. Bird Jr., Bob Scott off the boat. Mario Dino did not see Bob Scott. He had his hand out the window, flagging he's on the outside, and Mario Dino ran right into the rear end of him. Mario's out of the car. Bob's out of the car. Okay, 7 laps in, here we go. 7 in, 93 to go. Ernie Shook on the inside of Tom Garbrandt, trying to get third. Smockett out of shape. Able to keep going. John Crumrine, Steve Gillen, Ernie Shook, Tom Garbrandt, Jim Rambud, Kenny Carroll, Bill Rosen, Bert Busby, Bob Sibla, Brian Tedesco, A.J. Diano, Marcus Michael, Jeff Smith, Ken Cantrell, John Wilson, Bill Pete. Ron J. Bird Jr. and Jack McGrath. Crumrine showing the way. Ron J. Bird Jr. takes his car to the pit. John Crumrine coming up on the tail of John Wilson, 33. Ernie Shook into second. It's by Steve Gillen.